Hi, everyone. This is your 13 Now update. It is Tuesday, another first warning alert day, and I'm joined by Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano. And you can see in this live picture of I-90 Exit 3, the State Office campus, that the snow is already coming down. And this is just the start, Paul, of what's going to be an interesting day and evening for us.
Yeah, this particular storm, unlike the one over the weekend, Sabrina, is going to have a lot of facets to it. Just so many different areas of concern. The snow here being one of them, but we got a long way to go, as you mentioned.
So the snow is just starting, Paul. We are already seeing some schools canceling after-school activities, maybe some sports practices and whatnot. All that is being canceled ahead of what's to come. And the main concern, really, some flooding concerns and potential power outages today.
Yeah, this storm, I think the worst of it will be with rain and wind, even though we're looking at snow right now. That's why we've issued the alert day going into the evening and overnight hours. The snow probably will be an issue, but only in the short term here. It's not going to be a picnic going home over the next couple of hours. But as you can see here in Albany, it's not really sticking to the roads. We have temperatures close to 32. And we knew at the onset here it was going to be a little touch and go. Some places would have some rain showers, others would have snow showers. But I think for the most part, the commute probably in the metro area will be okay. We'll watch the radar. We'll watch the cameras like this one, the CDPHP first warning cam, showing the snow coming down in downtown Albany, but right at 32. And the roadway's just fine. If anything, just a little wet. They might get a little bit sloppy. But then across the hill towns, we're talking about higher amounts of snow. So a coating up to an inch in the valleys, including Albany, Schenectady, Clifton Park, Troy, down to Catskill, even Pittsfield, probably an inch, maybe a couple in some of the, let's say, the higher elevations of the ones that aren't in the mountains, but not really considered hill towns. 1 to 3, Catskills, Adirondacks, even more. Green Mountains more, 1 to 3 at least, as much as 3 to 6 across snowmobile country out by Woodford and down into the higher terrain of the Berkshire. So some places are going to get decent amounts of snow, but where the overwhelming majority of people live in the metro area, we're looking at a coating that will make it a bit sloppy for the evening commute, but I think the temperatures will climb quickly enough that we're going to wind up talking about the snow being less of a factor heading into the night. Instead, it's the wind that I think is going to be a major problem, especially across the higher terrain. This graph here is for Pittsfield. And I picked Pittsfield because it's in the higher terrain across Berkshire County. And whether it's Pittsfield or up toward Bennington, Manchester, down toward Great Barrington, Western New England will see wind gusts over 50 miles an hour tonight. And some places will even get up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that could easily take out power, especially in some places that have a little coating of that wet snow on some of the tree limbs. So we do have winter, or rather high wind warnings out for the Berkshires, Taconics, Rensselaer Plateau, southern Vermont, and off into the Adirondacks for gusts up to 60. Elsewhere, no joke, still wind gusts up to 55 possible, even in valley locations. The highest wind gusts will be late tonight, around midnight, and the first thing after midnight, around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Then, even though we'll have some stronger wind gusts, they will not be as strong heading towards sunrise. All right, so the snow will come through. We talked about how much of that we'll get in the short term, let's say by 5 or 6 o'clock. After that, and a lot of us will change over to just plain rain. And look at all this rain, 1, 1.5, 2 inches, maybe even upwards of about 3 inches of rain in a lot of places. Now, look at Durham and Highmount over to Hudson, Sheffield, Pittsfield, points east. All those places picked up about a foot of snow across the weekend. And we have that snowpack still in place, and a lot of it will melt off as temperatures climb tonight. You had that melted snow and all this rain into the river basins and the streams and creeks, and you start getting high water. That's why we do have that flood concern, especially for the lower half or the southern half of our area, Schoharie Valley, Albany County, Rensselaer County, points east and south. So not to say there could be no flooding in the North Country, but lesser of a chance because I think less of the time will be spent above freezing. And while we may get more snow in the north, less of a flooding issue as we get into the night tonight and tomorrow. Here's the latest first warning live Doppler. You see the pink over Albany already indicating that some raindrops are mixing in. But you saw those wet snowflakes. So still, especially in the hill towns, we have several more hours of some wet snow that'll add up. valleys up to an inch or two, hills and mountains a bit more. And just look at all this moisture down into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, down into Kentucky. All that has to lift through our region. So we're not going to get a big snowstorm out of this, but we're going to have a lot of slowdowns because of that initial burst of snow, a bunch of rain, flooding concerns, and Sabrina, of course, that wind that we talked about, and power outages certainly likely. Not a good time either. In the middle of the night is probably when the heaviest winds will come through. So I think we're going to start to see some power outage numbers go up. I just checked. We have a couple dozen power outages, mainly in Greene County right now, but I expect that number to go up as we get deeper into the night.
What do you think that is from right now, Paul, since the winds haven't really picked up quite yet?
Yeah, I think, the higher terrain in Greene County, I think we're already starting to see the winds. We're here in the valley is the last place we see the wind pick up. It's difficult to get those winds mixed all the way down to the valley floor. So once you start seeing the winds across the higher terrain, and Berkshire County will be next, this is almost like clockwork, and then we'll get into the southern Adirondacks. We'll start to see power outages across those places and the Rensselaer Plateau, and then deeper into the evening, right down to the valley floor. We'll start to see some stronger wind gusts.
And tough timing, as you said, overnight. We'll bring this shot back up, Paul, of I-90 exit 3, where the snow is coming down. And I wanted to ask, with the snowpack, the melting, and then the flooding concerns, are we looking at temperatures dropping overnight? And could we wake up to some icing outside our doors?
In fact, I think this is the opposite of the normal diurnal cycle when it comes to temperature. So in fact, tonight, temperatures will go up. So we're at about 32 now. I think by the end of the night, we'll be in the high 40s to near 50 when we wake up tomorrow. So the icing will not be a concern, but we'll continue with that snow melt, right? And all the rain is going to run off into the basin. So the flooding only begins overnight and tomorrow morning. And then later in the day tomorrow, things will start to cool off. Not dramatically, but enough that we could see some snow showers on the back end and maybe some slick spots tomorrow night.
Check out a few of our other cameras and see how things are looking elsewhere. Northway exit 2 looks like a little bit more of a clear picture over there. And we'll take a look at I-90 where it meets 787. Just some light snow, as you said, Paul, but just kind of giving people a snapshot of what's going on elsewhere around the capital region. As this storm moves in, you will, of course, be tracking it, and we'll get the latest from you starting live at 4. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. And that is your 13 Now update on this Tuesday afternoon, another first warning alert day. We'll have the latest, of course, with Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano and the rest of our weather team. We have team coverage of this storm starting live at 4 on News Channel 13.